Hey y'all, so today I'm going to be doing another Media of the Moment video. Media of the Moment is a series that I've created on my channel where every week or 2 weeks I sit down and I talk to you about all of the media I have been consuming in the past few weeks, whether that is books, movies, TV, podcasts, anything like that. And the last time I made one of these was 2 weeks ago, so I've got a lot of stuff to cover, so I'm going to try to go as quickly as possible. Let's start out with books like I usually do. So in my last Media of the Moment video, I was in the middle of reading Death Note Black Edition Volume 3 by Tsugumi Ohba, and I have since finished it. I think I finished it like the day after I recorded that, so this is the first book that I finished in the last couple weeks. And even though that video went up on March 1st, this was my last February read, so it was included in my wrap-up if you want to check that out. Link will be in the description. The next book that I read, which was my first March read, was Where Futures End by Parker Peavyhouse, and I had a lot of feelings and thoughts about this, so I'm thinking about doing a review, although I don't know when I'm going to film it. After that, I jumped into In Real Life by Cory Doctorow and Jen Wang, which I had mixed feelings about. Not enough to do a review, but I had very conflicting feelings about this one, and I'll talk about that more in my wrap-up. And then I jumped into the second volume in the Scott Pilgrim graphic novel series by Brian Lee O'Malley, which is Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. And I definitely didn't like this one quite as much as the first volume. I thought it was alright, and I'm still definitely going to continue the series, but I wasn't quite as impressed with this one. After that, I started to read the manga version of Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare, and as you can see, I didn't get all the way through it. I got to about chapter 3, and then I was really in the mood for something else that I had with me, so I decided to pick that up. And that was Death Note Black Edition Volume 4 by Tsugumi Ohba, which I have already finished. I had some interesting feelings about this one. I still really enjoyed it. I still gave it 4 stars like I have with all of the volumes. This isn't my least favorite volume, I don't think, but I'm not 100% sure on that. There were a couple things that happened in this one that I wasn't super happy with, and I'm not sure if it was for, like, reasons within the story or just for my own personal reasons, so yeah. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about this one yet. And now we've caught up to what I'm currently reading, which is The Queen of the Tearling by Erica Johansson. This is one that I've picked up, I think, 3 times now, and I've made it 75 or 100 pages in for various different reasons, none of which are really related to the book at all. Just I think I was in the mood for other things at the time or something like that, and I have been trying to get through this book because so far I've enjoyed it and I think that it's really interesting and I like the world and the main character, but I just haven't been able to get through it yet. But third time's the charm. This time I am determined to get through this. I've already gotten further than I have in the past, and I have like goals set for myself for every day just in case I'm not in the mood to read it. So yeah, I'm gonna get through this. So now moving on to the TV shows that I've been watching in the past 2 weeks, and since it has been 2 weeks, there are a lot. So I'm going to kind of run through them and only really talk in detail about the ones that are more important to me or that I watched more. So right at the beginning of the 2-week period, I was watching Sheer Genius Season 1. I didn't finish it, but I got maybe like 4 episodes in, and then I stopped watching it for some reason. And then also near the beginning of that 2-week period, Sarah and I finished our watch through of Work of Art: The Next Great Artist Season 1, and she enjoyed it enough that she wanted to continue to Season 2. I think currently we are about halfway through the season, although we've taken a break to watch something else, but I'm sure we'll return eventually. So yeah, I watched a significant portion of Work of Art over the past couple weeks. Also because I've been really in the mood to rewatch all of these random, obscure, old reality competitions that I really love, I also watched the majority of Season 1 of Endurance over these past couple weeks. I got up to the final 3 in Season 1, and I don't think I'm going to continue it right now, just because I'm not in the mood for Endurance anymore, and if I were, I probably would want to watch a different season, but I already know what happens, so. So those were all shows that I kind of watched before I left for break, and then while I was on break, I didn't watch a ton of TV, but what I did watch was on the Tuesday of break, I was watching a lot of like cooking shows, so I watched a lot of Cutthroat Kitchen and a lot of Worst Cooks in America, just whatever stuff was on Netflix. And also, of course, because it premiered this past week, I watched the first episode of Season 8 of RuPaul's Drag Race, which I am so excited about. It's one of my favorite TV shows. I am enjoying the season so far, and I'm really interested to see what happens. So far, surprisingly, there's no one that I just outright hate, although I do think that Cynthia Lee Fontaine is kind of annoying. but there are definitely a lot of queens that I really like this season. I know we're only one episode in, but so far I'm kind of either liking someone's personality or someone's drag, and it's not overlapping a lot for me yet. For example, I really like Robbie Turner's personality. Like, she is really funny, and I think that she's really sassy and snarky in her confessionals, but so far her drag seems like a low-rent version of Jinx Monsoon. I am ready to be proven wrong, and I hope to be proven wrong, but everything that she's kind of shown so far just seems like a less good version of Jinx, and that's not going to win the competition. Anyway, moving on to the show that I'm pretty sure I will be watching over the next few weeks because I am very much in the mood for it, and when I get in the mood for the show, I just watch it incessantly, and that is The Mole. So another thing that I've been doing this week is listening to podcasts in the car, and I really like the podcast Rob Has a Podcast and all of its like branching out podcasts. And one of them is reality wrap-ups where they just talk about reality TV shows. And I've discovered that both Rob Has a Podcast and Reality Wrap-Ups both had long episodes talking about The Mole, which, as I've mentioned in I think a few videos now, is one of my favorite TV shows, and it's this obscure reality competition that I love. And so I was listening to those podcasts in the car along with a podcast talking about endurance. Like I said, obscure reality shows are just what I'm in the mood for right now. And after listening to those podcasts, I was like, ugh, I really want to watch The Mole. Like, that's all, like, when I'm in the mood to watch The Mole, that's all I want to do. Like, I just want to watch the show and be so happy with my life. And so I sat down, I think, a couple days ago / yesterday, and I just started watching, and I was so content. I've also roped Sarah into this. She doesn't like it as much as I do by any stretch of the imagination, but she likes it, and so we've watched, I think, 6 episodes into season 2, and I'm pretty sure we're just gonna keep on going. Also, over the past couple weeks, I haven't been listening to a ton of music just because I was listening to more podcasts in the car rides than anything. But one of my favorite bands, Parachute, came out with a new album, Wide Awake, on Friday, and I listened to that one several times on repeat in the car ride on Friday. I think I like it. I'll have to listen to it a few more times through. There are definitely a lot of songs on it that I really like, but I think that it is a good combination of the sound they had on their first 2 albums and the sound that they had on their 3rd album. So that's all the media that I have been consuming over the past couple weeks. However, I did want to talk about the fact that right now I'm kind of in this mood to just create. I have all of these video ideas, all these blog post ideas, and I'm really in the mood to go back to working on my novel. It's been a really long time since I've talked about it on this channel, but I participated in NaNoWriMo for the first time in 2014, and then I attempted to participate in Camp NaNoWriMo in April of 2015, and I failed both times. However, I haven't touched my draft in a while other than kind of reading it through a couple days ago, and I've just really been wanting to get the draft done. And so what I think I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a plan of attack for the next few months, like outlining, making sure that I have the world details down, making sure I have the characters profiled well, and getting their backstory straight, so that I am ready for Camp NaNoWriMo in July. I consider trying to participate in Camp NaNoWriMo for April, but April I know is going to be a crazy month for me because I have my lecture recital mid-April, so that is kind of a big deal and I need to be focused on that, but I should have time to outline and stuff like that. So my plan right now is definitely to participate in Camp NaNoWriMo in July, and to be preparing for that over the next couple months. I guess 3 months, whatever, 4 months, who cares. But I have been thinking about making videos kind of talking about my process. I'm not sure why anyone would actually be interested in that, but people have shown interest and curiosity in my writing in the past, so I just wanted to mention that to see if anyone was actually interested in seeing any videos about that. But yeah, I also feel like it might be helpful for me to actually chronicle what I'm doing so that I can keep myself up to date and actually doing what I'm supposed to be doing, because I'm really bad at making a plan and sticking to it. So I'm thinking that might be a good way to keep myself on track, but at the same time, I don't want to put too much stress on myself to actually do what I'm supposed to if I'm really busy. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to put that out into the universe that I am working on my novel again, and I'm hoping to get a full draft done by the end of July, and if not by the end of July, then by the end of the summer, so that I can go back and edit, because I was reading through my NaNoWriMo draft and I was like, yep, this needs some editing. So now just briefly touching on the things that I plan to be reading, watching, listening to over the next few weeks. Obviously, I plan to continue to read The Queen of the Tearling by Erica Johansson. It's gonna happen this time. And then of course I also want to read The Invasion of the Tearling by Erica Johansson, which is its sequel. And I also want to continue / finish the Infernal Devices manga series. I'm not sure if I want to continue this specific volume before or after I read The Invasion of the Tearling, but I definitely want to work on this trilogy at some point this week. And I can already tell you right now that I will probably be still watching through The Mole this time next week. I will probably have moved on from season 2 unless I just haven't had time to watch TV, but I will be watching some season of it in some form or fashion, whether I'm watching the 5th season of the US edition or whether I'm watching an Australian season or a British season. I'm gonna be watching the show in some form or fashion. And I also plan on, of course, watching the next episode of RuPaul's Drag Race. I can't watch it when it airs because I don't have the Logo channel, unfortunately, but I always watch it the next day on the Logo TV website. So that is it for this Media of the Moment video. Let me know down in the comments what you think of any of the books, TV shows, podcasts, music that I have talked about in this video. As always, I will leave links down in the description to my blog, Twitter, and Goodreads. Please add me as a friend on Goodreads. I would love to be friends with all of you. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!